Good morning. Happy Saturday. First off, it's my kids' TV time right now, so once again, sorry if it's a little loud, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I've seen a lot of people doing these videos lately, and so it might be a little overdone, but I just think it's so fun. And if you're someone like me, I love going through baby names, like even when I'm not pregnant. It's just so fun to look at different names. And when I was pregnant with both of my kids, I feel like Quinn's came to us pretty quickly and we had her name from pretty early on, but we struggled with Milo and we didn't settle on a name till like right, I think when I entered my third trimester. And we went back and forth a lot with him, but it's just so fun. And it's so cool how their name is the first gift you ever give to them and it sticks with them literally for the rest of their life. So pretty cool thing. But I'm going to share some baby names that were on our list that we wound up not using, just because I think it's fun. And also because we're like 90, maybe even 95% sure we're not having any more kids. So we don't really need to keep them to ourselves anymore, just in case we need to use them. We're pretty sure we're done. So I'll share girl names first and then boy names. And at the end of each list, I'll let you know the name that our kids almost were. Because for both kids, we were down to two names and kind of went back and forth a little bit. Quinn more quickly than Milo. But it's weird to think that like my kid almost had these names. So Sean basically told me to compose a list of names, boy and girl names, for both kids, and then he would let me know off of that list which ones he liked, and then we would kind of narrow down from there. So, and I didn't save these, I had to pull all these from memory, so I'm sure there's ones I'm missing, but these were at least some of them that I really liked and that Sean either said no or we decided together no. Let me first start by saying I am not trying to offend anyone or hurt anybody's feelings, so if I say that we wound up not liking a name, it's just we didn't like it for our kid and for our full name. But there's nothing wrong with any of these names. In fact, most of them are on my list because I really like them and we just wound up not using them. So not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But I'll start with girl names. So first, I actually love my first name and my middle name. I'm lucky that my parents named me something that I really like. But my middle name is May, M-A-E, and I've always liked it. I just think it's a pretty simple name, kind of Southern. And before I met Sean, I always had that in the back of my mind that I could always name my potential daughter May. It's just a very pretty name. But then I went and married someone with the last name Ray. So as much as I love the name May, I could not do that to my child. I could not name her May Ray. Just couldn't do it. But I thought maybe we could use Maisie, because I think Maisie is a really cute name. And we looked through different spellings. We could have even incorporated the M-A-E, or we could have just done the traditional M-A-I-S-I-E. But I still just didn't think Maisie Ray even sounded that right. So we ultimately took that one off the list. But I still like May and Maisie. I think they're both cute. I also, being from the South, love Southern names. I think Southern names are so pretty. And with our last name, I think a lot of these Southern names actually sounded really good. But we like Evangeline or Evangeline. We probably would have said Evangeline though, which ironically we have friends that named their daughter that. But I thought Evangeline Ray sounded really pretty. Magnolia, I love Magnolia, and we would have called her Maggie. But I thought Magnolia Ray sounded really good. But my favorite Southern name was Georgia, and my sister Marie had actually brought this one up because she likes that name. But I thought Georgia Ray, it's like kind of comical because it sounds like maybe like a name from a movie or a story, but Georgia Ray I thought it was so beautiful. But Sean wasn't too big on that one, so we have to agree, both of our kids. But I still love Georgia. Then I also like some modern kind of newer names. I really like Hadley, Hadley. I think that's really cute. The next one's kind of funny, but two names that were also on our list were Nora and Jane. Jane was my grandmother's middle name, and I also think it's just a pretty name. And Nora is a kind of older, pretty name. And my niece that just had a baby named her baby Nora Jane. So obviously I love her name. But the name that we almost went with for Quinn was Sadie. I love, love, love the name Sadie. My dad actually had an Aunt Sadie, but I don't really honestly remember her. We just love the name. I think it's so cute, so pretty. It works well for a little girl, and it's also pretty for like an older woman. So we went back and forth between Sadie and Quinn, and ultimately went with Quinn. When I was pregnant with Milo, we already knew if she was a girl, her name was going to be Sadie. But we had our little boy, so we wound up not using it. But I love the name Sadie, so pretty. So for boys, by the time I was halfway done my pregnancy, we wound up having a pretty big list because we just could not decide. But I like all kinds of names. I like older names. I like new modern names. I like last names as first names. Obviously with Quinn. But so it was really hard to pick a boy name. A lot of people suggested the opposite to me, but you know, it's our baby, so we did what we wanted. I liked one-syllable names with our one-syllable last name. I think it sounds kind of cool. A lot of people were like, oh, your last name's so short, you need a long first name, which I also think would have sounded good, but I like the one-syllable and the one-syllable as well. I think it sounds cool. So there were four one-syllable boy names that I had on my list. The first one was James, because that's my dad's name, which is actually Milo's middle name. Quinn is Quinn Elizabeth after my grandmother. And then Milo is Milo James after my dad. We thought about just naming him James, because we like the name James, and we still like it, but I thought that people might wind up giving him the nickname Jamie, and I don't really like that. Apologies if your name is Jamie or your kid's name is Jamie. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't like it for our full name. So we wound up not going with that one. But other one-syllable names I liked were Grant, Dean, and Jude. And I still like those names. I think they're, once again, good for little boys and good for grown men. There's something about a one-syllable boy's name. I just think it sounds cool. Let's see. But Sean didn't like Grant, Dean, or Jude, so we couldn't use those. And I also liked some longer names. I love the name Harrison, and I think Harrison Ray sounds good. But once again, I was like, people are going to wind up calling him Harry, and I don't like Harry. And when they're little, you can kind of control that. And if someone starts calling your kid Harry, say, please stop. That's not his name. His name is Harrison. But once they're in school, you can't really control that. And I didn't want him to wind up being Harry. So we took that one off. And let's see what else. Maxwell. I think Maxwell is a good name. And Max, obviously, is a great nickname. And then the next two names, both H names, I still love. Holden and Hudson. I love both of those names, but they're becoming so popular. And coming from a teacher's point of view, I didn't want my kid to be in a room with literally 3 other Hudsons. Like, I just didn't want that for my child. But still love the name. And if it's your kid's name, your kid has an awesome name. I love it. Side note, turns out Milo is all of a sudden becoming popular. So I think I might have not escaped that with Milo, but we'll see. And then the last name that we loved, we were actually going to name him, his name was this for a little while, was Theodore. I love the name Theodore, and we would have called him Theo. But once again, I thought Theodore Ray sounded really good. Theo Ray sounded really good. And I think Theo is a really cool nickname for a boy. Milo's getting fussy. Okay, I think he's getting tired, so as soon as I'm done with this, I have to go put him down for a nap, which is a little early, but that happens sometimes. But yeah, we love the name Theodore, and he was going to be Theodore for a while. As much as we liked Theodore, I don't know, there was always still something that like didn't feel quite right. We loved it, but we just weren't sure if it was our son's name. Like we kept questioning it. And the reason Milo is I had never even really heard of the name Milo. We were visiting my sister. Her and her family live in Florida, and we were driving to Disney World. We were going to go spend a day in Disney World, and since it's like a 3-hour drive from her house, Sean was driving, and I was literally on my phone just scrolling through names, looking at names, because we weren't 100% on Theodore yet. We just knew we liked, and I came across Milo, and I said, Sean, what about Milo? And he said, Milo. let me think about that for a minute. I kind of just did a Google search on the name Milo. And the first thing that comes up is Milo Ventimiglia, I think you say it. The guy that plays the dad on This Is Us. And I was like, oh yeah, that is his name. But that's literally the only time I've heard of it. And it started growing on me right then and there. And I was like, I think I like this name. And my niece Hannah was in the back seat. I said, what do you think about Milo? And she loved it. And then Sean went, yeah, I really like it. It's different. But it's like, it's a good little boy's name. It's fine for a man. And Milo Ray sounds really good. And we knew that if his first name wasn't going to be James, his middle name was definitely going to be James. So it had to sound good with James. And Milo James sounds really good. And then once we got to Disney World, my sister and her husband and their 2 boys were in their car. So once we walked into Magic Kingdom, I said, I think we might have changed our name. And I said, Milo. I said, I think I like it better than Theodore. And she liked it, and my brother-in-law liked it, and even the... Okay, somebody was calling me, but I'm back. But I think that about wraps it up. But, so yeah, obviously, we wound up naming them Quinn Elizabeth and Milo James, and we love them, and we still love them, and we're happy we picked those names, but these other names I still really do like. So maybe if you're pregnant or soon to be expecting, this will help you figure out some names you do and don't like. But this was a video I literally just wanted to do for fun. But hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I'll be making a new video real soon. See y'all next time. Bye.